Hi everyone. Today we shall discuss about different mode of entry into international business. As we know what is international business and its impact, its different methods and advantage different in the previous classes. Now how a businessman or a corporate people or a domestic businessman enter into foreign markets or foreign business. There are different ways. It is not so easy to enter into international business. Directly we can't enter into international market. A businessman has to use the following mode of entry uh, to enter into international business. The mode of entries are exporting, licensing, franchising, contract manufacturing, management contracts, FDI without alliances, FDI with alliances. By using all these mode, a businessman shall enter into international business. Take first exporting. Exporting, we know what is exporting, and there are different forms of exporting. We have three forms of exporting. One is indirect exporting, direct exporting, intra corporate transfers. Take exporting. Here exporting means shipping of the goods and services out of the port of a country or out of the geographical boundaries of the country or political boundaries of the country. Seller is referred to as an exporter and buyer is referred to as an importer. The person who send goods from domestic country to other countries called exporter, and the person who receive goods from other countries called importer. This is called exporting. And next is indirect exporting. Exporting can made indirectly also. It means that the firm participates in international business through an intermediary or through a middleman without contacting the foreign person or directly to the foreign person, and does not deal with foreign customers or foreign markets directly. With the help of middleman, with the help of intermediary, a domestic businessman can sell their goods in the foreign market. He doesn't have a direct contact with the foreign customers or foreign markets, called indirect exporting. Next, direct exporting. In the indirect exporting, the importer and the exporter are the seller and purchaser doesn't have direct contact. But in case of direct exporting, here the firm works with foreign customers or markets with the opportunity to develop a relationship directly. The person who can directly transfer his goods or export his goods to the foreign purchaser or receive from the foreign seller called direct exporting. Likewise, a goods and services can export or import directly and indirectly. And here indirect exporting, take an example of indirect exporting. Here you have seen in the presentation, like there are two countries, one is USA, another one is India, and company A is in USA and company C is in India. In between there is a transactions between company, there is no transaction between company A and company C, which is in US and India. There is one more company in the name of intermediary called company B. A USA company A sell goods to company B in the USA itself, and B company is going to sell goods to company C in India. That C company is going to sell their goods to the Indian customers or Indian users. This is called indirect exporting. It means here there is no direct relationship between A and C, even both are in different nations. With the help of third party, with the help of middleman called B, they are going to make foreign business or foreign markets. And here indirect exporting, take example, exporting of goods and services through various home-based exporter like manufacturing exports agents, export commission agent, export merchant, merchants and international firms. Direct exporting. Direct exporting, here we have two nations, one is USA, another one is India. There is a company in USA in the name of A and company in the India in the name of C. They can make transaction between two countries, USA and India, company A and company C, directly, called direct exporting. Here there is no middleman in the name of company B, as we have seen in the indirect exporting. Differences between direct exporting and indirect exporting. See, there are different differences in between direct exporting and indirect exporting. Producer in a direct exporting, producers in the USA, indirect exporting also producers in the USA, and producers can send their goods to the foreign agents or distributors, and foreign distributors can send their goods to the foreign retailers, and foreign retailers can use directly to the foreign end users or foreign end users. In indirect exporting, producer who's in USA and export the management export trading companies, and that trading company is going to send their goods to the foreign distributors or agent or retailers. From that they are going to sell their goods to the foreign end users. Here in direct exporting, USA companies sell goods to the other country, called, take example of India itself, they can sell their goods to the directly to the Indian consumers. And in the indirect exporting, first producers to the agent, agents to the other country. The third type of export is intra-corporate transfer. Here intra-corporate transfer, there are intra-corporate transfer. Here we have sending goods from one country to another country with the help of third parties, or the third party is in the same country or in the other country. So therefore we can transfer the goods to make the final products. This is intra corporate transfer. Take advantages of exporting. Exporting, relatively low financial exposure. Advantages, exporting ಅಲ್ಲಿ advantage ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ relatively low financial exposure and permit gradual market entry. Directly we can enter into the market, acquire knowledge about local market. It helps to acquire the knowledge of local customers, local market, local authorities, and avoid restrictions on foreign investments. It helps to avoid restriction of foreign investment. Where there are some advantages, we have seen some disadvantages on exporting also. Vulnerability to tariff and NTBs. There are some tariffs definitely if goods sent to other countries, means there are some tariffs, tax, customs, excise like that. And second one is logistical complexities. There are some logistical complexities like goods complexities. And a third one is potential conflict with distributors. When we have when we are going to sell through export, we have to face some problems from the distributor. There is no potential. It is how a businessman believe the distributors. So this is regarding advantage and disadvantage of exporting. And that's totally the first mode of entry into international business is exporting. Come to the second mode of entry into international business is licensing. We are very familiar with the word licensing. Anumati anta ನಾವು ಕೇಳೇ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. Licensing is when a firm called the licensor ಲೀಸ್ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನ ಬಳಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಹಕ್ಕು ಇದು. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ರೈಟ್ಸ್, ವರ್ಕ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್, ಪೇಟೆಂಟ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್, ಕಾಪಿ ರೈಟ್ಸ್, ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ನೇಮ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ to another firm called the licensee. There are two persons, the person who gives his right to use to other called licensor, and the person who use the rights of the others called licensee, in return to payment some amount of consideration in the form of fee. ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಫೀ ಅಂತ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿ ತಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಪೇಟೆಂಟ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಕಾಪಿ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನು ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ದ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಮೇ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಪೇಟೆಂಟ್ ರೈಟ್, ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್, ಕಾಪಿ ರೈಟ್ಸ್, ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ರೈಟ್ಸ್, technical know-how, specific business skills. The licensing process. What is the process of licensing? See, first, licensor leases the right to use intellectual property. First, the company which has some license in the form of technical know-how, in the form of technical rights, in the form of copyrights, in the form of trademarks, they have to ಲೀಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಗುತ್ತಿಗೆ ಅಂತಲೇ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಲೀಸ್ ಟು ದ ಅದರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. ಅದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹೋದರೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸಿ ಯೂಸಸ್ ದ ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಟು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಳಸಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಸಮ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್. If he use patent rights to produce something, he has to produce here. He use copyright, he has to make a book. He has to copyright, he has to make a movies. Technical right, he has to use technical rights and make a product. And next, pays royalty to the licensor. For the usage of his technical rights, licensee should pay some amount of fee to the licensor. And from that he earns new revenues with a low investment. ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ತಪ್ಪು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಲಾಭನ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಥ್ರೂ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸಿಂದ. ಅಮೇರಿಕಾದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಳಸಿದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿ ಹೊಸ ಹೊಸ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ನ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಅಮೌಂಟ್ನ ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆದರೆ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಟೈಮ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಷ್ಟು ಉಳಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ನಾವು ಹಣನ ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ನ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ಸು. ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್. ದರ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಸ್. ಏನೇನು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇದೆ? ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ಬೌಂಡ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್. ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸಿಂಗಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸಿ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಜಾಗ್ರಫಿಕಲ್ ಏರಿಯಾಸ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಡಿಟರ್ಮೈನಿಂಗ್ compensation. So he has to determine the compensation from the licensing. Establishing rights, privilege and constraints. And the next is specifying the duration of the contract. So license has to use for a specific period. They have to specify the particular duration in the agreement when they have made, in the contract when they have made. Differences in laws and culture. And as we know, countries to country there is a differences in laws and as well as the culture. It has to be mentioned in the agreement. Take example of licensing like PepsiCo, Coke bottling plant. These are all some examples of licensing. And let's go for licensing advantages and disadvantages. See, this mode has some advantages and disadvantages for the businessman who wants to enter into international business. Let me go through advantages first. Low financial risk. How it is low financial risk? As I said, a businessman can save his time and money in order to invent new thing. By using licensing, he is going to be save some amount of money as well as time. ಹೊಸದನ್ನು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಒಬ್ಬ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ನ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಕಾಪಿರೈಟ್ಸ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಮಯನ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಸಮಯದ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಲೋ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಲೋ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ವೇ ಟು ಅಸೆಸ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್. ಸೊ already the licensor company has a good name, the licensor company has a good market for their products, then it will be helpful to know assess the market potentiality of a particular product, avoid tariffs, NTBs, restrictions on foreign investment. See, once we get license from the foreign company, so it will be reduces or avoiding the tariffs, NTBs, restrictions on foreign investments. Licensee provides knowledge of local markets, and as usual, it helps to know the local markets. Uh, Disadvantages of licensing. The first one is limited market opportunities or profits. Licensing has one demerit, that is limited market area. Where the product is popular, that particular area is concerned. It is not going to be popular or familiar with in other areas, and dependence on licensee. So here license, once we get license, we are going to depend on the license itself. No scope for further things, no scope for innovations. Potential conflicts with licensee. It happens when one person has to give his technical knowledge or work methods to other person, then potential conflict is going to be taken place. Possibilities of creating future competitor. See, this is the most disadvantages of licensing. Once the licensor gives rights to use, then he is going to create his competitor in the future. So this is regarding licensing. The other way of entry into international business, the franchising. See, under franchising, an independent organization called the franchisee operates the business under the name of another company called the franchisor. Here, there is a company is going to give his franchise to other companies which is in the other countries, and they are going to operate under the name of the particular company where it was established. They are going to use the name of the franchisor company. In such an arrangement, the franchisee pays to a fee to the franchisor. The franchisor company is a popular company, so therefore franchisee has to pay some amount of money in the form of fee to franchisor for using the name of franchisor company. Franchising is a form of licensing, but the franchisor can exercise more control over the franchisee as compared to that in licensing. As we said, as we see in licensing and franchising is both are one and the same, but comes to the controlling point, the licensor does not have any control on licensees, but the franchisor has control over the franchisees. Franchisee agreements. Franchisee has to pay a fixed amount and royalty based on sales. See, when a franchisee and franchisor are comes together to make a agreement in order to take a franchise from the franchisor to run the business in the local area, so they have to pay some amount, some fixed amount, and royalty based on sales. It is based on the sales. Franchisees should agree to adhere to follow the franchisor's requirement. Here always franchisor should agree. A franchisee should agree to adhere or to follow the requirements of the franchisor. Always they have to follow the requirements of the franchisor. A franchisor helps the franchisee in establishing the manufacturing facilities. See, this is the one important aspect which we cannot see in the license. Here, once the franchisor gives the franchisee to a particular company in other countries, that franchisor has to help to franchisee to set up at the initial stage, and franchisor allows the franchisee some degree of flexibility. There are some flexibility in the payment, in the making products or producing products or manufacturing products. There is a chances of some flexibility. Take example of franchising we are experiencing, like KFC, McDonald's, Domino's Pizza. We are all experiencing. We don't have the head office in our country, we are experiencing American foods in local area like Davangere also because of franchising. Here, advantages and disadvantages of franchising. Advantages, take advantages first. Low financial risk, as usual. Low cost way to assess the market potentials and avoiding tariffs and NTB's restrictions on foreign investments. Maintain more control than with licensing. This is very important advantage. Franchisor has a control over franchises, and franchisee provides knowledge of local market. As we seen advantages in the licensing, likewise we have advantages of low financial risk, low cost way to assess market potentials, and avoiding tariffs, NTBs, customs, and but very important advantages is here franchise maintain more control over franchises, which cannot see in the licensing. Come to disadvantages. Limited market. Franchise in franchising also, we have seen only limited markets and opportunities and profits. Once we get franchise from the franchisor, we are going to we are adhere to the franchisor. ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಸರಿ ಅವರಿಂದ ಕಂಪ್ನಿದ ಫ್ರಾಂಚೈಸಿ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅವರ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಹೊಸ ಹೊಸ ಅದನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಹೊಸ ಅವಕಾಶ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಕೇಳೋತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಲಾಭದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಲಾಭ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. Dependence on franchisee. Here also franchisees dependence and potential conflict with the franchisee. Same thing is taking place. Potential conflicts is there and possibilities of creating future competitor. Once we give franchisee, and there is a chances to create, or we franchisor himself provide opportunity to create competitor against him. Next way of entry into foreign markets or international business is FDI, foreign direct investment. Very familiar word. Foreign direct investment without alliances. Companies enter the international market through foreign direct investment. Invest their money, establish manufacturing and marketing facilities through ownership and control. Here, foreign direct investment, FDI, companies is going to invest their money in another country, establish a manufacturing and marketing facilities through ownership and control. Directly ಫಾರಿನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ನ ವಿದೇಶಿಯವರು ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಹಣ ಹೂಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕಂಪನಿ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿ ರನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ನಾವು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ. ಹಿಯರ್ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿ ಇಸ್ ಅನದರ್ ವೇ. ದ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ರೆಫರ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಕಂಪನಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರ್ಯಾಚ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್. ಕಂಪನಿ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ನ ಸ್ಕ್ರ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇದು ಫಾರಿನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಅಲಯನ್ಸಸ್. ಫಾರಿನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿಕ್ ಅಲಯನ್ಸಸ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡೋದಾದರೆ, ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜಿಕ್ ಅಲಯನ್ಸ್ is another way of entry into international business. It is a cooperative and collaborative approach to achieve the larger goals. Here cooperative and collaborative, the two words says cooperative between two nations, collaborative between two nations or two companies of different nations is going to achieve a larger goal. In order to achieve the larger goals, there is a need of collaboration, there is a need of cooperations. ನಮಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶ ಹೇಳೋದಾದರೆ, ನಾವು ಬುಲೆಟ್ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಏನೋ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ, ವಿತ್ ದ ಕೊಲಾಬರೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಜಪಾನ್, ಅರೌಂಡ್ 56,000 crores ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ investment, technical exchange and also financial support. This is a larger goal. And role of alliances. Many complicated issues are solved through alliances. ಈ ಥರ ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸುಮಾರು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ದೇ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ದ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ಸ್. ವೆನ್ ಟೂ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕೊಲಾಬರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೂ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ನೇಷನ್ಸ್, ಟೂ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗರ್ and helps in developing new products with the interaction of two or more industries. See, this is very important. When two or more industries, two or more companies of different nations come together, it will be helpful to developing a new skills, new products, new products or new techniques. Uh, and meet the challenges of technological revolution. There is a chances of technological revolution is the technical era. Today's technology becomes old for tomorrow. So every day we have seen new technologies. So it will be helpful when collaborations are there and managing heavy outlay. If there is a heavy investments, if it is not possible from one country or one company, then it is better to go for alliance ಜೊತೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಈ ಥರದ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ. Become strong to compete with a multinational companies. When countries are collaborating, when companies are collaborating, then it will be helpful to fight against the strong companies or multinational corporations. Mode of FDI through alliances. See, there are different modes. Again, alliance ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಹೇಗೆ? Merger, acquisition, joint ventures. Three important. As you are all aware of these three words: merger, acquisition, joint venture. As usual, merger, the combining of two or more companies, generally by offering the stockholders of one company securities in the acquiring company in exchange for the surrender of ದೇರ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಎರಡು ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ಶೇರ್ಸ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರೆಂಡರ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾರ್ಪಡ ನಾವು ಮರ್ಜರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ಟೂ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಎರಡು ದೇಶಗಳ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ಸೇರಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದೇ ದೇಶಗಳ ಒಳಗದು ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಕರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಎರಡು ದೇಶಕ್ಕೂ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ USA ಕಂಪನಿ comes together for merge, exchange of shares in the form of stocks to their both the shareholders in a certain percentage and starting a new company called merger. Acquisition. Second alliance is acquisition. When one company takes over another and clearly established itself as the new owner, the purchase is called an acquisition. As we know, the stronger company is going to acquire the share of weaker company and establish itself. It means that when stronger company acquire the share of weaker company and running the business in the stronger company name itself, called acquisition. Joint venture, this is a different part. As we know, ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿ. ಸೊ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಫಾರ್ಮರೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದರೆ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ವೆಂಚರ್, ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್, ವೆಂಚರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. ಇಬ್ಬರು ಸೇರಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನಾವು ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ವೆಂಚರ್ ಕರಿಬೋದು. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನೋಡೋದಾದರೆ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ವೆಂಚರ್ ಇಸ್ ಆನ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಟೂ ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಟೇಕ್ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಟುಗೆದರ್. ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ, ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನಾವು ಎರಡು ಜೊತೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಟುಗೆದರ್ ದ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಅಗ್ರಿ ಟು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಎ ನ್ಯೂ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಬೈ ಬೋತ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ and they share in the revenues, expenses and control of the enterprises. Joint venture is nothing but combination of two or more parties of two countries. Or parties here means not only individual, here two companies also come together, join together and start a business. Both are responsible for investing expenses and also both are responsible acquiring profit. So this is called joint venture. Take an example of merger acquisition. First take a merger. ING Vaishya Bank merged into Kotak Mahindra, Ranbaxy into Sun Pharma and Tata Chemicals took over British Salt based in UK. This is merger example. And take example of acquisition. Flipkart acquired Myntra, as we know, and now the Walmart acquired Flipkart. Yahoo acquired Bookpad. Asian Paints acquired front end sales of ESS bathroom products and ICICI Bank acquisition of Bank of Rajas. This is the example of merger and acquisition. Take advantage and disadvantages of Acquisition. Advantages: obtain control over the acquired firms such as factories and brand names. Acquisition ಇಂದ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ನೇಮ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಉಳಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ನೇಮ್ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ಅಕ್ವೈರ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಂಪನಿ ಕೂಡ ಆ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದುಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ವೀಕರ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್. And integrate the management of the firm into its overall international strategy. It's quite happens when shares acquired by a company, when company acquired by another company, then that intellectuals means here management and other things also get internationally good name frame. Disadvantages: assumes all the liabilities such as financial and managerial. All the liabilities are acquired in the acquisition. Now advantages of joint venture. Advantages: benefit from local partners knowledge. Here when two countries are going to jointly form a business in order to do the economic activity, it helpful to both the companies to know the local markets. It's helpful for getting benefits of local knowledge and shared cost risk with the partners, reduced political risk. Disadvantages: risk giving control of technology to the partner, may not realize experience curve or location economies, shared ownership can lead to conflict. This is regarding advantages and disadvantages of joint ventures. And there are some other mode of entries which I left in the sequence, like contract manufacturing and management contracts. See, contract manufacturing is taking contract from the other countries to produce some product and send back to the countries. And management contracts, in order to control the things, in order to control the overall activities of particular business or sharing of knowledge or management expertise is going to